All right, welcome back to the 11th step meditation foundations. We're in step 2 in meditation. This is the second video in the power greater than ourselves section. The previous video, we started to talk about higher power and how we can develop our image of higher power. And it'll really help to have that image and visualization as we go into practicing the connection through meditation. So I asked you what your concepts and images of higher power are. And hopefully you downloaded the documents. We had two on the course page. Not my higher power and what is my higher power. Now it's an interesting exercise and I hope you did it. And if not, just kind of think through this. So what are the images and ideas and concepts that you don't like about higher power as you know it today? Now I've done this exercise in a number of one-day retreats in California. And inevitably it came out that people had this image of a negative higher power. He was angry and controlling and limiting and telling me what to do and that kind of thing. And I felt those feelings too a while ago. And then the power greater than myself that I want, my higher power of today, was loving, kind, generous, helpful, healing, all-knowing, all-caring. And that's what a lot of people in the retreat said. It's amazing how similar every retreat, and most people were similar like that. I know for myself that when I was a child, I had these images and I had this experience of people teaching me meditation, or I read things and I misinterpreted them. And then I came into this as an adult and it blocked me from connecting to higher power, exploring it more. So now what I want you to do is to grab the what is not my higher power paper and tear it up. Just tear it into pieces, throw it away, because guess what? It's not true. All those negative beliefs that you had like that, they're not true of your higher power. You get to choose your higher power, and it's positive and loving, and that's what we're going to go through with today. Now in this section, we're going to discuss several paradigms, possible ideas for higher power, give you some ideas to think about. And we're going to learn several meditation techniques that'll help us connect and strengthen our relationship with our higher power. I think one of the greatest gifts that the founders of Alcoholics Anonymous and the group that helped write the book and put it together is that they decided on the phrase power greater than ourselves. It takes all the resistance that we can possibly offer, all those negative images of higher power, all the resentments of not wanting people to tell us what to do. I don't know about you, but anyone told me what to do, the hairs on the back of my neck went up and I automatically tried to go the other way. So by broadening it and letting us decide what that higher power looks like is really a miracle of the program. We get to evolve that over time as we explore it and experience it. Some of the terms in the big book that I really identify and appreciate are creative intelligence, spirit of the universe, higher power, and God. And in these talks, I often use the word God. When you hear that word, if you still have a problem with it, just think higher power when you hear that word and whatever your image of higher power is. It's a place where you're starting, and you get to explore and expand that. Universal consciousness, a oneness in thought and being. Wayne Dyer covered that in his Why Meditate audio clip that we listened to earlier. And then the field is more of a scientific term where quantum physicists and scientists that are exploring spiritual matters are calling the unified field theory. It's a theory that everything is interconnected. Just like what we're saying. But they have this theory. It isn't totally proven, but they keep coming up with experiments that are demonstrate that there is this field of being that we live and work in, and they're showing how it communicates with us. So as spiritual explorers, and that's what we are in the program, we can always deepen and widen and expand our perception of higher power. In meditation, we can practice and experience being in the presence of higher power, and that's what we're going to do in these step 2 meditations. We can actually tap into and access this power greater than ourselves. So now I'd like to share with you a video by Deepak Chopra that just amazingly and succinctly in 1 minute captures the power and wonder of our higher power.
When you were first conceived, you were just that double-stranded DNA in a fertilized ovum. It divided 50 times only. In 50 replications, you had 100 trillion cells. which is more than all the stars in the Milky Way galaxy. And each cell, it's estimated, does about 6 trillion things a second. And every cell instantly knows what the other cell does. How does a human body think thoughts, play a piano, kill germs, remove toxins, and make a baby all at the same time? And whilst it's doing that, it tracks the movement of stars and planets because your biological rhythms are actually the symphony of the cosmos. There's an inner intelligence in your body. And that inner intelligence is consciousness. It's the ultimate and supreme genius which mirrors the wisdom of the universe.
Okay, pretty amazing, isn't that? I love that video and his description and just the miracle of life and the power greater than ourself that provides us. A lot of images that I have of higher power are related to love. Higher power equals love, and I've been exploring the concept of the energy of love. So when I talk about love, it's not that old yearning and I want you kind of love, and that's obsession. That's not true love. This is a deep caring, a healing, an electromagnetic and radiating force. It both attracts like a magnet and it radiates out from us. We are interconnected like a web in that field. And it's gently pulling us. We can feel it if we're aware of it. We can see it guiding us to improve ourselves back to our source, as Wayne Dyer said in that audio clip. And the miracle is that it communicates everything instantly and operates under universal laws that more and more are getting ready to understand. Now I want to read you a clip from Murdo MacDonald Bain, and he was a mystic, a writer, a healer in the early 20th century. He was born in 1897 and he passed away in mid-century. But listen to what he describes as love. Love is the greatest magnetic force in the world. It is more powerful than the strongest magnet used to magnetize steel. When a piece of steel is magnetized, all the particles arrange themselves in north and south poles, harmonizing the whole of the atoms in that piece of steel. And the steel then becomes a magnet itself. So does love magnetize the etherons and the atoms of the soul and body, turning them into a magnet to attract the cosmic rays in great abundance, thereby giving expression to the love of God. I found this in chapter 6 of his book called Beyond the Himalayas. And there'll be a link below the video to this book and how you can find this. I also like to just take a moment and share with you my idea of higher power and us as computers, and whether I'm online or offline. So I, as a person, as a man, am a computer. My brain is my operating system, my software. I have hardware, my body, and I am thinking and doing and feeling and operating all day long, but a lot of it's offline. So when I try to connect to my higher power, I need to open up my internet connection and connect to that power greater than myself, something within me and something outside of me. I don't know if very many of you remember the old days when the internet first started, but we connected to the internet on our computer through the phone. Called it a phone modem, and it was very slow. And you'd click on a page and you'd have to wait. It's not like the internet now. We just take it for granted. It is always on and always available. But it's taken a while, so we need to develop our own personal internet connection to higher power. So we are always on, always available. In the 11th step, we call that conscious contact. So what is your internet connection with higher power like today? And we're going to show you some ways in meditation to improve your internet connection. Now the heart, as a symbol, represents love. And one way that we connect to our higher power during meditation is through our heart center. In our body's chakras or energy centers, from the Eastern traditions that have identified these, our heart is the center of divine love. In the Catholic traditions, we have the Sacred Heart of Jesus and the Sacred Heart of Mary. I think they represent a lot of the same thing. This physical energy center is our power source, our internet connection to higher power. It is no coincidence that our heart physically supplies and pumps life-giving and sustaining blood throughout our bodies. It is no coincidence that our heart physically supplies and pumps life-giving and sustaining blood throughout our bodies. In meditation, love is the life energy force of the universe that we connect to, which sustains and heals us. As alcoholics and addicts, we are highly addicted to our emotions. Our emotional energy center is located near our navel. For me, this may be the source of that hole in the gut feeling that I hear about in meetings and I felt. And I used alcohol and drugs to cover up that feeling. Our emotional centers are overly excited, and we've been running away from this feeling, not knowing how to shift it or how to change it. Meditation and connecting through my heart center reduces my attention on my emotions and the power they have over me. In meditation, let's practice putting our attention around our heart center and visualize that we're surrounding our heart with a warm, loving, healing light. The heart is an inner doorway to connect with our higher power. We can create a sacred connection through our physical bodies to link us through love to our spiritual energy centers and to our higher power. We can actually practice this now if you want. And we'll go over this again soon, but put your attention on your heart as you're listening to this video and practice breathing through your heart. Breathing through your lungs. Imagine that you're just breathing through your heart, and this will help you bring your attention to your heart. And if you want, you can surround it with a warm, glowing, loving light. And just hold that as long as you can. And this is one of the techniques we're going to be practicing in meditation. Now I've got another video for you. This is Roland McCarthy, and he works for Heart Math. It's an institute that has been studying the science of the heart and its ability to heal, and how meditation can help us connect our heart to help us retrain our brain, the neuroplasticity to heal ourselves and to improve ourselves.
Over the past 18 years, our research center has investigated heart-brain interactions, how the heart and the brain communicate with each other, and how that affects consciousness and our perceptions. One of the things we identified in our research was the state we now call coherence. And what we found was that when we're feeling positive emotions, like we're really appreciating the sunset, or really feeling love or compassion or care for someone, that the heart beats out a very different message. The heart generates by far the largest rhythmic electromagnetic field produced in the body. And what we've now found is that if we look at the spectrum analysis of the magnetic field radiated by the heart, that emotional information is actually encoded and modulating into those fields. So by learning to shift our emotions, that's changing the information we're encoding into the magnetic fields radiated by the heart, and that can impact those around us. We are fundamentally and deeply interconnected with each other and the planet itself, and what we do individually really does count and matters.
Heart Math Institute has a book, Heart Math Solutions. And they also have a tool that helps you track that HRV, the heart rate variability. So you can wear it while you meditate or through the day, and you can see how your heart is registering. Just to expand on this, if you're looking at the heart rate variability pattern, which tracks a number of things in our body, you can see the graph of frustration there on the top, and then the graph of the emotion of appreciation. We talk about this feeling of being out of sorts, so it is actually a physical thing as well as a mental thing and an emotional thing that we can learn about and shift and change on purpose. And the coherence that Roland talked about is the organizing energy patterns of the universe. He's talking about coherence in the heart, but the Princeton Research Institute has studied the coherence of the consciousness of our Earth, and they've been able to track that when there's large emotional events, like the passing away of Princess Diana, they could actually track the coherence of the world. It actually became a little bit more organized and more together and more coherent. And other studies have been done in ancient sacred sites where people are praying and meditating, and those areas have more coherence. There's less randomness in the energy patterns of those areas. And I sense that where we have meetings, there's a higher grade of coherence just by the healing and the recovery and the spiritual nature of our program. You can tell when you walk into a room, all of a sudden you just kind of big awe, and that is that sense of coherence that we're feeling. It's an energetic source. That energy that Roland talked about of the heart, it produces and communicates those emotions through magnetic energy, but it also radiates out up to 15 feet from us. We know, like when someone walks in the room and they're really frustrated, as you can see on this graph, or angry, we can sense that, and it's an actual physical feeling that we're having. And you can see the model of appreciation, how coherent it is. So we are all receivers and transmitters of energy. So this helps remind us that we need to be careful of what we're thinking and feeling, emotional control. And we learn and practice this in meditation. And it really helps to create your own special sacred place for meditation in your home. I have a chair that I like to sit in to meditate. There is a calming energy around the chair that has developed over time by meditating in it. We literally raise the energy level of our meditation space with our meditation practice. We bring coherence to it. This is similar to the energy of sacred buildings and sites around the world from all the religions, and also the rooms of the 12-step meetings are held. So let's create a sacred space in our home where we meditate. I suggest you choose a comfortable chair to sit in when you meditate in your sacred space. I have the tools I use to meditate, my iPhone headsets, an iPod, meditation books that I read and I'm going to reflect on in my meditation. I cover myself with a small blanket to keep warm on those cool mornings and evenings. I may wish to create a ceremony before I begin by lighting a candle, reading my daily meditation book, or saying my favorite prayers. One of my favorite prayers is the third step prayer. So create this sacred space in your room, this ritual, build the energy within that space, and be comfortable so you will enjoy spending time with your higher power. I have a set time early in the morning when I meditate. I wake up 30 minutes before I need to get moving to start my day. This is quality time with my higher power, practicing being in the presence. But please don't limit yourself to only being able to meditate in one place at one specific time. Allow yourself the freedom to meditate with your higher power anywhere, anytime. You can also greatly benefit by meditating with groups. 11-step meditation meetings and other meditation groups are very beneficial to me for learning how to meditate. The encouragement and the techniques learned from others, sharing their experiences, helped me to practice on my own each day. And also, we're going to be creating our inner sacred space in meditation. So visualizing is a powerful tool in our meditation. It's a creative act that combines our thoughts and emotions and energy to form ideas and help bring them to life. In the step 2 meditation, we're going to develop and visualize your own inner sacred space during the meditation. This can be your favorite place at the beach, in the mountains, a holy site, or a special room. So what do you want your sacred space to look and feel like? As you construct your inner sacred space in meditation, you will find that our outer world begins to mirror the same order, serenity, and connectedness. This inner sacred space will be a place where you can relax and be at peace. My higher power of today is different than my higher power when I first got sober and began meditating. I have combined the inner explorations of meditation with the outer actions of working the steps. Actively striving to live a spiritual life by going to meetings, reading spiritual books, researching and exploring my understanding of higher power to become a spiritual explorer. Then bring these new experiences to your meditation to evolve your concepts of higher power and practice them during meditation. This is what we hope to begin to accomplish by visualizing and interacting with your higher power in your sacred space during our step 2 meditations. One of the techniques that we're going to introduce to you in the meditation is counting breaths. The practice of breathing during meditation is an Eastern tradition. It's called pranayama. It's one of the 8 limbs of yoga. It can be an integral part of your spiritual practice, and it has been for thousands of years, and it really helps reduce physical and emotional stress. So this technique that we're going to do of counting breaths is very simple, but it takes a little practice and getting used to. So while we do the meditation, give it a try. If it's too hard, just don't follow it, but pick it up later. But I encourage you to try it and kind of rest and relax into it. I use this technique sometimes when I've had a really crazy day. At the end of the day, I just do counting breaths, and it really brings me down. It helps me eliminate all the toxic energy that I've been carrying around that's built up, helps give me oxygen into my body, and it strengthens that link between mind and body, and really helps calm me. So what we're going to do is specifically called counting breaths again, and we're going to use the count of 4. You can reduce this to 2 if you want, 3, 4. I've done practices where I've taken it a lot more, but right now let's try it. As you're listening to this, what we're going to do is we're going to breathe in rhythm with our counting. And you don't count out loud, but you just count to yourself in your mind. I often, when I'm meditating, can hear my heartbeat. So I use that as a kind of a metronome, a rhythm that I use for counting. So what we're going to do is we inhale, a little bit deeper breath than normal. We're going to inhale to the count of 4 breaths. 2, 3, 4. And then we just pause. We suspend that breath for a count of 4. 2, 3, 4. Then we exhale slowly to the count of 4, 3, 4. And then we pause again for 4 counts. 2, 3, 4. Let's do this over and over a little bit just to practice before we get into meditation. Inhale, the count of 4. Pause, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Pause, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Pause, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. And pause, 2, 3, 4. What this really helps me with is being completely in the moment. If I'm breathing, I'm in the now. I'm not thinking of the past, or I'm not thinking of the future. So this really helps to control that. And the word pranayama in Sanskrit means control of energy. Our breath is energy. In the Catholic and Christian tradition, the Holy Spirit is breath, that energy of higher power. So we're practicing to control it, because a lot of times we've been out of control with our emotions. So we can control our breath. It's a great technique to practice controlling our energy. And then when we're in that pausing in between the inhale and the exhale, we're just suspended. For me, it feels like that, purely in the presence of higher power in that pause. And then I breathe again and I pause. We're always thinking and doing and feeling. Thinking and doing and feeling. We're human doing. So as we pause, we make a crack in all that, and we give a space where higher power can actually get in and apply his grace to help us heal. And pranayama in this technique also provides what they call a neurophysiological workout. It's our brain and our physical that leads to greater flexibility and plasticity of our nervous system. There you go, neuroplasticity again. This helps us change our brain patterns, those habitual ways of thinking. This is a technique that a practice can actually help you change and get into new thinking habits, loosen them up. It's almost like a stretching exercise for our nervous system. We've covered a lot in this section. So we're actually going to have 2 meditations. We'll do this next meditation, and then we're going to have a brief talk about came to believe, and then we'll do another meditation that works on the same concepts and adds another segment to it. So just as a reminder, the techniques that we're going to do in this meditation as we place our attention on our breath and we breathe through our heart center, we want to focus on our heart. We're going to be counting breaths to bring us into the moment, to have that pause, and to help us create that neuroplasticity, the ability to change our brain and our thinking habits. We're going to create our inner space, that place where we can feel most connected to our higher power. And then we're going to practice being in that presence of our higher power that we wrote about, that we described, our ideal higher power of today. We're going to practice being in the presence and being connected to that higher power. The first step to meditation is the audio file is right below this video. And when you have time, if you can do it right now, that's great. The ideas are fresh in your mind. Go ahead and click on that. Enjoy your meditation. I hope you really begin to see the benefits of this. I will include links to everything that I talked about, all the outside sources, and then we'll see you in the next section where we're going to cover came to believe. Talk to you soon.